and welcome to another video. It's that time of the year again. It's Advent of Code and we're gonna have so much fun. I'm gonna try to get all the way to 25, but we'll see how many days I will actually handle. And usually when we have this kind of intro, I have some sponsor shots here. But this year, the sponsors that were reaching out was mostly AI companies that didn't really meet the actual seal of approval for me. They weren't really having a product that they could go to market with yet. So this year, as the creator economy is a little bit strange, I would much rather think that you should give some of your appreciation to an other creator. So I will put my donation link in the description, and I don't really care if you give me money. You can if you want, but I want you to pick out some creator that you watch regularly, that you really like what they do, and then give them a small donation saying, hey, I really appreciate what you do. So that is my call out for this year. Let's get into some Advent of Code. Bright light, Saturday morning. Day 6, trash compactor. After helping elves in the kitchen, you're taking a break, helping them reenact a movie scene when you over enthusiastically jumped into the garbage chute. Okay. A brief fall later, you find yourself in a garbage smasher. Unfortunately, the door have been magnetically sealed. As you try to find a way out, you are approached by a family of cephalopods. They're pretty sure that they can get the door open, but they will take some time. While you wait, they're curious if you can help the youngest cephalopod with her math homework. Cephalopod math doesn't look different from normal math. The math worksheet, your puzzle input consists of a list of problems. Each problem has a group of numbers that needs to either be either added or multiplied together. However, the problems are arranged a little strangely. They seem to be presented to each other in a very long horizontal list. For example, each problem numbers are arranged vertically. At the bottom of the problem is a symbol for the operation that needs to be performed. Problems are separated by a full column of only spaces. The left alignment of numbers within each problem can be ignored. Okay, so a worksheet contains of 4 problems. To check the work, cephalopod students are given a grand total of adding all the answers of the individual problems. In this worksheet, the grand total is blah blah blah. Of course, the actual worksheet is much wider and you need to make sure to unroll it completely so you can read the problems clearly. Solving the problems on the worksheet, what is the grand total? Okay, so this is a parsing problem, pretty much. So we have 5 lines, pretty much. And the last line is multiplication, and we have a bunch of columns. And let's try to use a map. Map of list. Could make this much more complicated if we want, having classes and so on. Let's just try with a list. A list of string. New hash map. Like that. What's going on? Of course. It's early in the morning. There we go. So we just use an integer for that. And then for each line in lines, we can do this and break. So in this line, we would like to have let's do a pattern. Compile. We can call this a number pattern. And the number pattern is a number of a bunch of numbers, and we need more than one of them. So that is our number pattern, and then we have our sign pattern, and that is either a plus, or I think we can do it like that. No. We need to iterate over those characters, either that or that. So if we do number pattern, if line contains that, we'll do this, else we will run the number pattern. And if line is blank, we will just continue. So number pattern, matcher on the line. So then we will get a matcher. This is how you do, or one of the ways you can do regular expressions in Java. So here, if we find something, or while we find something, we want an int iterator of 0, and if we find something, we will take math map, put IT add matcher group 1. So that's the first thing we find. So here we first off will check if math map get IT, that we can do up here. If contains key IT, and if that's not the case, we will take math map, put IT new array list, like that. And down here we can do a get add, like that. for each of these groups. And we will do the same up here for the other group. So let's see now how this works. We need to run this class instead. We got index out of bounds. Of course we did, because we need to do IT++. No, we need to do it inside of this while loop. And I think we can simplify this. Matcher, oh, and then we do that. Or that. Like that. Because we don't want the columns for each fetch. So that's how I think we want to do it. Stop there, debug. So now we have a couple of patterns. We take the first line, we have a couple of numbers. So that won't be true. We will get that pattern. The first find we get, we have one group, 0, 3, and we will add there. So it's the group 0 then. So now we got in our math map we have one column with the value of 1, 2, 3. So that's correct. We have a second column in 3. Yeah. So that seems to work. Now we can remove this break. And we can do system out down here. And we can check what our value is after the run. So now we should have a math map of size 4, where the first column has 4 values, the second column has 4 values, third has 4 values, and 4 values, yeah. And that is correct, right? Yeah. So this means that we should be able to down here calculate each column. So 4 map entry integer string and here we do math map no, we can do values. So with them we would get list of strings. That is pretty much what we want. We don't really need the integer. Like that. And then if the and we do a for string of this entity. If s equals plus, or if it's equals that sign. Now we can do the one. If it equals plus, else if it equals star, we do that. And in this case, the order doesn't matter. Minus and divided by the order matters, but not when you do plus or star, right? So we should be able to do ent reversed. Like that. We get the string and so first off we need a big integer 0 up here. We need a big integer 0 down here. Entrev get 0. So then we check the first for the sign. That we can do before everything here. Don't really need to reverse it. We could check the last one as well if we want. And in that case we take the first value add big integer, new big integer, that value. And that could be our start value either or. I'm doing so much. So for int start at 2, second one, because we already handled the first and the 0th one, and I'm less than entrev size I++. So what we want to do here is for the first we want to take the val and add new big integer of entrev get I, and here we want to multiply. And after all of this, we want to take sum equals to sum, add dival. And if we take the sum, print that out down here for the test case, method reversed. Can't find reversed. Okay. Why did you then suggest reversed if you can't find it? So let's change this up then. We do int for the first value, 0th value. We'll do 1 till size -1. And here we want to check int size -1. That's the one we want to get, because we want to get the last value. So we just turn it around, handle it as it's an array like that. We get that big value. Let's see if that is the correct value or if we have done something wrong. Seems like we have the right value, right? Yes. So let's try this with the full value then. False. See if we have parsed everything correctly. We get a huge value. Let's see if that is the correct one. Yes, you get a gold star. I get a gold star. Everybody gets a gold star. Let's check part 2. The big cephalopods come back to check how things are going, and they can see that your grand total doesn't match the one expected by the worksheet. They realize that they forgot to explain how to read cephalopod math. Cephalopod math is written right to left in columns. Each number is given its own column, and the most significant digit at the top and the least significant digit at the bottom. Problems are still separated in columns consisting only of spaces, and the symbol at the bottom problem is still the operator to use. Okay. Regarding the problems right to left, one column at a time, the problems are now quite different. The rightmost, let's see here, problem is 4 plus 4, 3, 1. Okay, 6, 2, 3. I see. So we actually need to read them as they are standing. The second problem, we have that. Third problem, we have that, and so on. Even though they are reading it right to left, doesn't really matter. The important part is that it's columns, because 6, 2, 3 plus 4, 3, 1 and plus 4 is still the same value, even though you switch it around. So just the columns is the important part here. Yes, so this will require a B example, like that. And we'll make things a little bit more complicated. we will remove the first one here. And what we will do is just for line for IT equals 0. We do a string array up here where we take the line and then split it, so we split every character like that. And the array length is where we want to go, IT less than array length, IT plus plus. So we continue to create this long list here. So if math map contains key IT, then we will add that and put IT in the array list. We still need that one. And then we take math map get and then IT, and we'll add the array at this position like that. So what we need to do now is take these values so if we go here, then we will have a math map of 1000. That doesn't seem like our test example. Like that. We can close this, we get a little bit more space. So now we got wrong day. This day. Here we want to check here. What do we get? We get a math map of we want the test to be true here. Here we can change it back. Doesn't really matter. So here we get a math map of 15. The first one, we have a sign and a 1. The second one, we have 2 numbers. And the third one, we have 3 numbers. And the fourth one, we only have spaces. And then we have another sign. So and the values are counted from the top right. Yes. So what we want to do now is that we want to get the string list. We want to add it together in a long list. And if it's blank, we'll do one thing. If the last thing is a sign, we want to do another thing. Yes. So we still want to have this. We want to have the value as a string, and up here we want to Boolean multiplication false, and if this is true, so up here we can say that it's false. Here we change it to false and true. So now we have that check. We will go through here and get all the values up to the last point. And here we have the string value. And we don't do a summation first part. So the string value is just adding the current string part here, like that. And then down here we take val, and it should be equal to, we can move this up here, down here. So this is just equal to the string value. So let's see here. We need to have an int sum, intermediate sum, and we set that here to begin 0 as well. And if multiplication if intermediate sum equals, or we can take equals and big integer 0, then we will take the intermediate sum and make that equals to the string value. Or else intermediate sum is equal to intermediate sums multiplied by the value. And down here we can do it much easier because we can always add the value. And if string val, we can do that up here. If string val is blank, we will add the intermediate sum and continue. Because we don't need to go down here. So if we run this, it will crash. Number format exception. So we need to trim this value. Let's see if that works better. And we get this value. And the right value is very similar, but not quite. It's a little bit off, but very close. Let's see what's gone wrong here. Okay. I see the problem here. It ended without any spaces here. And just to make it easier on myself, I will add a bunch of spaces. And we are back. And currently I'm cheating a little bit because I didn't really want to handle the weird case where you have fewer numbers than actual lines. So we see here that we have a line here where all these numbers end, and the last one we need extra characters to have a new column there. And we do the same for this one. We add an extra column here, so we always ensure that we go further, and then we get the right value out here. Of course, you could go through and figure out how to handle different lengths of these kind of arrays, but I'm just not that bothered about that edge case. In production, of course, you will go all the way and look at the edge cases as well. But I think for this example, that's good enough. So here we have a huge number. Let's see if that's the right number. Put that in. Yes, you get a gold star. I get a gold star. Everybody gets a gold star. So we solved day 6. And what we did is pretty much we went through the list here and created columns. So all characters became columns in our example here. We go through each line, and then we go through each character. We put that into a long math map, so each line will become a character, and then or each character will become a column. And when we have figured out all the columns, we go through each of the columns. If the column ends the last part in a plus or a multiplication, we will set this multiplication boolean true or false, and then we set our intermediate sum to 0. So that is what we want to calculate. Then we go through and take all the values until the last value. So not the last value, which could be plus and multiplication. So just the numbers, put that into string value. That string value down here, we will trim and create a big integer of. If all the values in the string is blank, we will just add the intermediate sum and then try again. So that's our case where we want to actually add it up. And when we get this big integer val, if we are doing multiplication, we need 2 different cases. Either the first value that we have, the intermediate sum, is 0, and multiplying by 0 is very helpful, so we will just add the value here, so we have a start value. Otherwise, we will do the multiplication, and if we are not doing a multiplication, we can always add to 0, which is fine. So then we just do the add, and when we have all these values multiplied and or added to, and we get our sum, we print it out down here. So this was day 6. I hope that you found this interesting. I hope that you learned something today. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave those in the comment section down below. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. If you like this video, give it a like, share it with your friends and colleagues, and I really hope to see you in the next video.